Welcome back to the John Fredericks Radio Show. This is your fill-in for John Fredericks, your Godzilla of the Truth, Oracle of Deplorables. This is Mike Rubino, guest hosting. We have Lara Trump on the line to talk Trump 2020. Lara, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, my gosh, Mike, it's always great to be with you, of course, on the John Fredericks Show. Great to be back with you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I want to touch on a couple things. We spoke to Brooke Rollins earlier, and she explained everything that the Trump White House is doing to serve the people of this country and to, work for suburban voters, to work for voters in the inner city. I know that the campaign is working hard to message to these individuals. We talked to John McLaughlin, who ran us through exactly why the polling is so flawed that we're seeing. So if you can, start us off with just a campaign update, and then I want to go to Joe Biden.
Well, I'm sure everybody saw the Trump rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma that we had a little like 10 days ago or so. And what you probably didn't hear a lot about, Mike, is the fact that we had 20 million people watch President Donald Trump do that rally. So we had thousands and thousands of patriots there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We also had online on our online platforms, which are hugely successful, by the way. Every night at 8 p.m., we have what we call Team Trump online. We get around 2 to 3 million viewers every night tuning into our programming. And that is something, by the way, we plan to continue to do up until Election Day, up until November 3rd, because it has been so successful for this president. So we started back campaigning officially on that Saturday, hugely successful with the 20 million people that tuned in. And we're going to continue that. We have coalition teams that we're getting back out on the road all over this country. We're obviously choosing areas where the COVID restrictions have been lifted, right, where people are able to gather. And then, look, we're going to get the president back out on the road, too. We are going to have more Trump rallies. Everybody says, any more Trump rallies? Yes, there are more Trump rallies coming. But like I said, we're going to continue the online component, our digital campaigning. We're getting people mobilized back out around the country, our volunteers, and people are really excited. Look, we see, Mike, why this is so important right now. We see what the Democrats, and I don't even call them Democrats anymore, the far left, radical Marxist socialists that used to be called the Democrat Party. We see what they want to do to this country. It is terrifying. We've got to get 4 more years of Donald Trump.
I completely agree. And, I want to give a little plug for your show. It's called The Right View, correct?
Yes, The Right View. So many have probably heard of a show called The View. Mm-hmm. We know Joy and Whoopi and the whole crew there that loves to hate on this president. They did not fully represent the views of every person in this country, especially not all women. So we came up with our own show. We call it The Right View. It's myself, Katrina Pearson, Kimberly Guilfoyle, and Mercedes Schlapp. And every Wednesday at 8 p.m., you can tune into our show, Team Trump Online, across all of our social media platforms. So,
it's really amazing. You built an entire news network within a campaign. How amazing is that to combat the fake news media?
Well, so, listen, we needed it. You see that there's I think it's 97% negative media coverage of this president, and it's not right, and people are not, sadly, getting the accurate information out there. And so, listen, we said we're the Trump campaign. We have a lot of great people that want to give the real information and the facts to the people of this country. We couldn't even keep up, Mike, with all of the great accomplishments of this president and his administration at the campaign. So we even created a website about 2 years ago called promiseskept.com. So if you ever are going out to dinner, if you're able to go out to dinner wherever you live with the maybe the neighbors that might not be sure they're on to President Trump and they don't think that they want to vote for him, go to promiseskept.com and it'll give you all the ammo you need to turn your leftist friends into Trump supporters, because you can talk about all the great accomplishments of this president.
Well, speaking about a promise kept, USMCA officially goes into effect today. So unlike Joe Biden, who had voted for that disastrous NAFTA trade deal, Donald Trump got thousands of jobs, thousands of businesses, millions of jobs back, brought them back to America. USMCA, a huge win for this president, and today is the day that it officially goes into effect, which another, win for the president for this campaign to tout.
Yeah, it's huge. And by the way, the time frame in which the USMCA was signed and put into effect, people said could not happen. But they've been saying that, Mike, from day one with Donald Trump. They said all of the things that he says he's going to do, nobody can do them, because, see, they don't understand that this president has never been a politician. I still don't think this president actually considers himself a politician, although he has been president for 3.5 years. He still works and operates like a businessman. And when he saw how bad NAFTA was for this country, how it was hurting our farmers and our manufacturing jobs across this country, he said, we got to get rid of this. We got to put something new in place. USMCA signed and today officially goes into effect. It's going to be huge for this country. And listen, it's just the beginning of what this president can do. And we see so many great things that he has done. Think about, Mike, 4 more years of that and how great it could be for this country.
It's amazing. Now, I want to do one more plug for the Trump team before we go to Joe Biden news. So I know that you just introduced an app, right? It's called Team Trump.
Yeah, we have our Team Trump 2020 app. It's actually Brad Parscale's baby. I mean, this is something he's been talking about. As you probably remember, Mike, for years he's been wanting to put in place this really high-performance app.
Yep.
And it's really all-encompassing of the Trump campaign. You can sign up to be part of our coalition's teams on there. You can get the latest messaging from the Trump campaign. Again, if you are going out with your possible Democrat friends so you can change their mind about this president and his policies and his administration, you can sign up for all of our events, our online events, our in-person events, and you get points if you get friends to sign up for the app as well. And if you get enough points, guess what? You get to meet and get a photo with the man himself, President Donald J. Trump. So it's a really cool app. It's very user-friendly, very easy to use. And Brad is so excited about it. So everybody go check it out. You can go to the App Store on your iPhone or the Google Play Store on Android.
And text app to 88022.
That's right. You can also do it that way. You're way ahead of me. Look at that.
So, Laura, I have a real treat. I have a clip of Joe Biden yesterday. He left the basement, and I'm just going to play the clip. We can talk about it afterwards. It's unbelievable.
I'm happy to take questions if you have them. He gave me a list of how to recognize. Is Alex AP out there? I was told NBC, Mike. Where's the Wilmington, the Delaware State News? I mean, Delaware News Channel, I should say. That's my hometown team. I better call on them. I'm sorry. Who was I supposed to go to next? Anybody? I got to make sure I get the Wilmington newspaper here before I leave here. I'll be dead.
So, just to break down for our listeners what you just heard there. Joe Biden's handlers gave him a list of friendly reporters to call on. Mike Mimoli, I have a hard time pronouncing his name. He's been with Joe Biden for 10 years. He works for NBC News. They are so terrified of him going off script that they literally hand him who he's supposed to call on. These are embeds. These reporters travel with the campaign. They're with Joe Biden all the time. He does not know who they are. I don't even think he knows where he is. Laura, he didn't know his hometown newspaper. He's been in Delaware his entire life.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I'll tell you, the 89 days in the basement did not do him any favors. I guess he didn't rest up quite enough to really get back out there. And if we're being honest, I mean, this does not count, Mike, as his, he's not back out. This was not a full-fledged press conference by any stretch of the imagination. Could you imagine if Donald Trump tried to pull a stunt like this? If he had hand-picked reporters they probably pre-screened every question. He knew exactly what he was going to be asked and, by the way, how to answer it. And I think the one question that maybe they didn't pre-screen was the one from the Fox News reporter at the end where he actually questioned Joe Biden's mental and cognitive capacity, and he immediately called him a lying dog-faced pony soldier right off the bat. He didn't even want to deal with it. He said, this guy, the coddling here is not doing Joe Biden any favors, because let me remind the Biden campaign and Joe himself, you are going to have to get on a debate stage with President Donald J. Trump. That is not going to work. That little sideshow that you saw there will not get you through a debate with the president. So I don't know I don't know how they think this is going to benefit him. He very clearly couldn't even handle the pre-screened questions. So it was sort of a sad display. And honestly, I know he's our opponent, but I feel sad for Joe Biden. I feel like they're pushing him out there. He's not sure he wants to do it. And honestly, it is a really sad look. It makes people feel bad for this guy, and I think nobody wants to vote for someone for whom they feel sorry, specifically not for the president of the United States. It's sort of sad.
Well, the terrifying prospect is you look at his list of vice presidential contenders, and they are far left. I mean, they're left of Lenin. And what I'm, concerned about is that he's obviously not fully corpus mentis. So what I'm concerned about is that if America chooses to elect Joe Biden, which I don't think will occur, we're actually going to be governed by a far left radical that's absolutely out of step with, the mainstream views of the country.
Well, and on top of that, I mean, you see that this man has been pushed already so far left. So you wonder, how did Joe Biden get the nomination? Remember Iowa? Remember when this guy came in fourth place in the Iowa caucuses? It feels like it was 150 years ago. It was just a few months ago that happened. In fact, I don't even think the Democrats got together the results of the Iowa caucuses. We still don't officially know who won that. But this guy kept coming in third and fourth place. And then all of a sudden, what happened? Oh, all of a sudden, he's the only guy standing. Well, don't be bamboozled, because they did the same thing to Bernie Sanders in 2020 that they did to him in 2016. He probably should have been their nominee, but they were scared because Bernie Sanders cognitively, I think, is all there, and he probably would have been running the country. Now, it would have been clearly a very socialist-run country, but Joe Biden got the nomination because the Democrat establishment knows they can control him. This is a shell of a president if Joe Biden is your president. Nancy Pelosi, AOC, the squad. These are the folks that are going to be running the show if Joe Biden were to be elected. And you're right, whoever he chooses as his vice presidential running mate will also be part of that group. And none of these people I would ever want anywhere near running the country. It is absolutely terrifying. And if you've seen what's happened out there in all these Democrat-run cities and states over the past month or so, with the rioting, the looting, the burning down of small businesses, the terrorizing of neighborhoods, this is the vision the Democrats have for the country. So the only person who is able to stand up for law and order, the only person who is standing up and saying we should not defund the police in this country, the only person who can economically bring us back after coronavirus is Donald J. Trump. If the Democrats get control of things, this will be an unrecognizable America. It's really scary.
Yeah, record growth in the second quarter. I mean, I think I know my 401k wants Donald J. Trump for another 4 years. Lara, it was a pleasure having you on. Good luck, and let us all know when the next rally is so that, I know 20 million people tuned into the last one. My dad was actually telling me that's what I should come on radio and say. Tune into these rallies because the rallies are absolutely reaching tons of undecided voters and tons of voters. It's an amazing prospect.
Awesome. Well, we will be back on with you, and we will be back out there with more Trump campaign updates and more Trump rallies, so stay tuned.
Thanks so much, Lara. Have a great day.